Good morning. My name is Liz Pillar Little, and I am one of the worship associates for this morning's service. I use she, her pronouns, and I am a short, graying brunette with a gray and white dress. Welcome to First Unitarian Church, where our mission is to explore the eternal, nurture community, and pursue the common good. We welcome you in your brokenness and in your wholeness. No matter who you have been, who you are, or who you are becoming, we greet you today with love. I'd like to extend a special welcome to everyone who is watching us on YouTube this morning. During the prelude, please introduce yourself in the comments and let us know where you're joining us from. If you're in Oklahoma City, what neighborhood you are in, or if you're elsewhere, what city are you in? And now the prelude prepares us for worship. We light the chalice as a symbol of our sacred time together. The burning chalice represents the light of reason and science, the warmth of loving community, the cleansing heat of justice, and the flame of hope.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Diana Davies. My pronouns are she and her. Today I am wearing water blue. To all who are joining us for the first time today, welcome. To all who are returning after several years or a few months, or were here for the board retreat just yesterday, welcome back. Welcome home. At our annual Ingathering service, we come together as a family of travelers reuniting from our many separate journeys to share our stories, to support and celebrate one another, to hold one another within the loving bonds of covenant and community. Let us begin by grounding ourselves where we sit. We sit on land that was home to Apache, Caddo, Tonkawa, and Wichita peoples long before there was an Oklahoma or a United States. We sit in bodies made mostly of water, on land fed by the North Canadian River, washed in rain that flows into the great Mississippi and empties into the Gulf of Mexico. We are water flowing into water, connected, limitless, moving, transforming. We are one. Please rise in body or in spirit for our opening hymn. It's number 145 in your gray hardbound hymnal, As Tranquil Streams.
145.
Please be seated.
Good morning. My name is Tim Atkins, and I serve as your Director of Lifespan Religious Exploration. I'm wearing a pastel striped shirt, a pink polka dotted tie, and rainbow glasses. Before our story today, a brief announcement about volunteering for our children and youth programming. In my 10 years as a religious educator, across every church I've served at, all three, I've noticed that there's an expectation that it's mostly parents who should be volunteering as teachers in our children and youth RE program. I'm not saying this is necessarily your individual opinion, but I've heard it expressed everywhere in both subtle and obvious ways. And this is an attitude I want to work on changing over this upcoming year. Ideally, we should have many, many more non-parents teaching our children and youth than parents. To me, that's a sign of a healthy religious exploration program, because it's a sign that the entire congregation views the religious exploration program as an essential ministry of the congregation. The expectation that parents are the ones teaching in the RE program comes from the mindset of, well, it's their kids in the program, so they should volunteer in the program. But these aren't just their kids. These are our kids. And these are our parents who could use some time for their own spiritual development too. So I'd be remiss if I didn't extend an invite to each and every one of you to teach in our RE program this upcoming year. Our religious exploration program is growing, and this year we're moving from having 3 to 4 classes. And that means we need more volunteers than before. In order to keep a continuity among teachers, but also give teachers the ability to take breaks and attend service, our teaching teams have 4 people on each team, which means as an individual teacher, you're teaching an average of 2 to 3 times a month. A lot of people think you have to be an expert teacher or an expert Unitarian Universalist in order to be an RE teacher. I don't know, I've never met an expert Unitarian Universalist. That's just not the case. The one thing you need is that you need to care. You need to care about our children and youth. You need to care that our children grow up to be grounded in our shared values and surrounded by love. You need to care about the future that our children and youth will be able to create with your help. You can sign up in Daniel Hall after the service ends, and I'm hoping at least 8 of you here today sign up to teach. You'll have all the support I can provide and then some, and I promise it's not as scary as you think it might be. You'll support the growth of our church, and you'll have an incredible time changing lives. Now with that, now it's time for our story. This is a story I wrote called A Drop's Journey, and I'd like to call my special assistant, Marlise, to the stage, our congregational administrator. Marlise has some special cue cards, and when she holds up the cue card, I want you to follow those directions. Most are pretty self-explanatory, but there is one I want to go over with you first. It's the second one. Can you hold that up? So when you see "Make It Rain," I want you to kind of go like this. You're going to tap. So it kind of sounds like rain, right? The others are pretty self-explanatory. So our story today is called A Drop's Journey. My earliest memory is drifting up through the sky, heading further and further up. I couldn't see anyone else that looked like me, but I could somehow feel that the sky was full of things like me. As I kept rising, I started to gain a form I could see. I was a single drop and still saw myself as a single drop. But I was part of something greater. Together with some other drops, we formed a family, a big and puffy family. We were transformed. We floated around the sky for what seemed like an eternity, but eventually we started to fall back down to earth. Although the trip down to the ground was pretty fun, and I was surrounded by my friends and family, I still felt pretty lonely. I missed that feeling of being a part of something greater than myself. And it was pretty fun floating around in the sky. I felt like I was losing a part of myself as I fell toward the ground. This time, the change was scary. Whoosh! Before I knew it, splat. I hit the ground hard. There was green stuff all around me, and slowly I started to sink down into the ground. It was cold and dark, and I was really scared. Some of my friends that I fell to the ground with disappeared into different routes, and I felt alone in the darkness. I kept falling and falling through the ground. It was so dark, I couldn't see where I was going, and I thought I'd be stuck alone in the darkness forever. I slammed up against something pretty hard, and I was stuck against a rock in a hard place for quite a long time. It took time, oh so much time, but I finally made it past the rock. And then I met other drops, just like me, who had made it past the rock in the hard place, and we started to come together. This was a very exciting time for me. There were entirely different drops than I had met before, and they had some really interesting stories to tell. One remembered being part of a plant that got eaten by a deer. And one remembered being part of a great storm and was blown all the way through a tree. It was nice having so many different drops from different backgrounds come together. We all had our own identities and our own differences, but we were all still the same on the inside. Eventually, our stream, that's what we like to call ourselves, made it out of the darkness and into the light. And one more cue card. There we go. Whoosh, and then. Once we saw the light, we were transformed again. We saw all sorts of fun sights, and soon our stream joined with other streams. We weren't worried about losing each other because we found even more friends along the way. We became more than just individual streams, we became a river. Our river merged with more, and soon we joined a big body of water, one of the elder drops called the sea. I had never felt more at home. There was a big community of all of us individual drops of water. Some came from rivers, some came from the sky. Drops continually joined us, and we celebrated their arrival. Drops would also leave us, disappearing back up to the sky. And although we mourned their loss, we knew that they were continuing on their journey and wished them well. I had made it through the dark times and arrived at my home. And I knew that even though I would be transformed over and over again in this great cycle, I knew that who I was on the inside would always remain the same. I want to thank Marlise for our wonderful assistant guest. So in our story, the drops of water came from different streams to find a community together when they merged into a river and later the sea. When two sources of water merge, it's impossible to tell which water came from which source. A true community is formed. We all come from different places and different experiences, but when we unite as a community, we are inseparable. Thank you.
Today, we celebrate our reunion with ritual. The water ceremony was introduced into Unitarian Universalist worship in the 1980s. It was designed by two women, Carolyn McDade and Lucille Shook Longview, to be a ritual that, quote, spoke to our interconnectedness to one another, to the totality of life, and to our place on this planet. Unquote. The originators of this ceremony chose water as their central metaphor because of its elemental nature, because it was in the water that life on earth was formed and was first generated, and it was in the amniotic waters that each one of us was formed. Today, Unitarian Universalist congregations around the world celebrate the water ceremony as a symbol of our shared faith coming together from many different sources. We join all of those who celebrate today. Together, we form a mighty river flowing into an infinite sea. This is the time to gather in the waters. You'll see that there are 4 stations, 1 bowl in each corner of the sanctuary. And if you are joining us online, I invite you to go and get your own bowl of water and another bowl of water as well. In many earth-based spiritual traditions, the 4 directions represent different seasons of the year and different aspects of life. The east is spring. I'm pointing in more or less the right direction. The east is spring, the dawning of new ideas and inspiration, air, change, life, and it flows like a river. The south is summer, a time of fertility and fire, a time of transformation and joy like a fountain. The west is the autumn, a time for reflecting on our emotions as life reflects off of water, a time for tears that fall like cleansing and healing raindrops. And the north is the winter, a heavy time of waiting as the earth is heavy, a time for balance, a deep time as the ocean is deep. So we're going to sing 4 verses of the hymn, I've Got Peace Like a River, which is number 100 in the gray hymnal. We're going to sing verses 1, 3, and 5, and then we're going to hum it one time through, and we'll keep repeating that cycle until everybody has had a chance to share their water in one of the bowls. I'm going to ask the choir to go last. Okay. So I invite you to pour water into the bowl that is closest to you. So remember, we have one back there, one right, I feel like a flight stewardess. One right there, one right here, right there, and right there. Go to the one that is closest to you, and as you pour, consider the significance of that bowl. Consider the blessing that it carries to you. That blessing might be new ideas and inspiration and peace like a river. It might be transformation and fire, joy like a fountain. It might be healing and reflection like raindrops. It might be balance and depth, love like an ocean. After you've poured your water into the bowl that is nearest to you, I ask that you move back to your seat right away so that the central aisle doesn't become clogged. And if it's available to you, I invite you to go to your bowl by using the center aisle and then return going down the side aisles. Once again, if you are joining us online, I invite you to take one bowl or container of water and pour it into another one. Pay attention to the sound of that water flowing. So again, we're singing, remaining seated this time, hymn 100, I've Got Peace Like a River. Don't wait until you're called upon to go to your station. Simply move as the Spirit moves you. And if you didn't bring water with you today, for any reason, no worries. We have water in containers right next to the bowl. So I invite you just to go up and pour some of that water into the bowl.
As you join us in singing this hymn, we'll be singing verses 1, 2, 3, and 5.
I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got
Let's return to the first verse as our worship associates bring the water forward.
I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my
Into this community of water, like a river, we pour out our individual ideas and inspirations. Like a fountain, we refresh one another with our joy. Like raindrops, we come bearing our own pain and our own healing. Like ocean waves, we are washed in an all-embracing love. And to this, we add the legacy of our ancestors, our memories of this cherished community, the gifts of those who came before us, as will be symbolized with water that we have gathered in previous water ceremonies. Joys, sorrows, our inspiration, our love, and the legacy of our ancestors, those who are no longer with us in body, but are always with us in spirit. In our hearts. Please take a deep breath with me. Let it go. In gratitude for this community of love. For now. Would you please join me in meditation? Please take a comfortable seat. Please take a deep breath in and let it go. And breathing in and out, you might imagine the sound of waves coming into the shore with each inhale, moving out to the deep ocean with each exhale. I invite you to imagine yourself on a beach. Whatever kind of beach is most appealing and most soothing to you, soft sand, shiny black rocks. With each wave, your pain is washed away. If you come to us this morning free of pain, you might imagine someone else there on that beach, someone you love, who is seeking healing, seeking comfort. Again, each time the wave rolls in and pulls back out, it takes with it our pain. our tears, our need for healing. Now I invite you to imagine that you are looking down at the sand beneath you or the bright rocks. And this time, as the waves roll in, notice the treasures they leave behind. Maybe they are little pieces of sea glass, once bright, sharp, painful, cutting, softened and made lustrous through the process of waves crashing again and again. Maybe they are little seashells that represent small bits of joy, little creatures representing life where you least expect it. Each wave brings gifts, nothing that we have deserved, nothing we have worked for, simply through grace. And as the waves pull back into the ocean, the water moves back into a depth that is hard to imagine, into a calmness that remains, no matter what kind of storms may rip along the surface, into that deep, calm, abiding love. I invite you to send your hearts now knowing that that peace, that love, that depth, that calmness is always, always there within the loving bonds of this community, within your own heart. Once again, please take a deep breath with me and let it go. And whenever you're ready, I invite you to open your eyes again. Come back into this space, this time, these people, this beloved, beloved community. Remaining in a spirit of meditation, I invite our choir forward to sing Spirit of Life.
Every Sunday, we take an offering. Since 2002, all the cash and designated checks from that offering have gone directly to external nonprofit organizations doing good work, our Change for Change partners. For the month of September, our Change for Change partner is the gender-affirming healthcare program of First Parish Malden. First Parish is a UU congregation in Massachusetts that is committed to supporting the rights of LGBTQ+ people and is working with a network of community partners to help trans folks receive the health care that they need, regardless of the state in which they live. For those of you who are in the sanctuary today, in just a moment we'll be passing the offering plate. If you're not able to make a gift today, we invite you to offer a blessing to the work of our Change for Change partner as the plate passes through your hands. And if you're watching us online, please make your gift by sending a first check to First Unitarian. Just write Change for Change on the memo line, or make an online payment through our website, oneuc.org.
What a joy it is to have our choir back again. And our choir director, Chukwe Buka Ezekacha, who's back from his National Guard training. It's lovely to have him back with us. And of course, our accompanist, Stephen Elkins Kennedy. Wonderful to have you. Today, we welcome into our community our newest members who have chosen to make a commitment to this congregation by signing our membership book. We also welcome back some who are renewing their membership with First Unitarian after some time away.
Hi. My name is Loriana Lee Knapp. Pronouns are she, her. I am an African-American woman who is rather short, but I come with big hugs and big smiles. I am wearing a magenta top and my hair is pinned up. Thank you. So, new and returning members, as I call your name, would you please come to the front?
And please remember to bring your order of service with you that has the words that you'll need.
Okay, here we go. Emily Dunnigan, Ashley and Michael Krukowski, Gail Townley, and Jennifer and Matthew Jones. And for the members who were not able to be here today, Jeff and Laura McCanleys, we also recognize them in a future service. So our returning members are Valerie Atkinson, Beth Autry, and Whitney Streets. They are receiving the red rose today. So white roses for our new members, red roses for our returning members. The moment when we enter into covenant with one another, it is one of the holiest moments of our congregational life. New members and renewing members, please recite in unison. Oh, I missed one. I'm sorry. Please recite in unison the words written in your order of service. Our congregational life coordinator, Nathan Boone, will read along with you.
We enter this faith with hope and possibility in our hearts, pledging to participate in and support the ministries of this church. We covenant to remain true to the spirit of love that flows through this church and guides us. We seek your welcome as we join in this faith.
And now, all members of the congregation, please rise in body or spirit, and let us read the words printed in your order of service appearing on your screen. We welcome you as once we were welcomed ourselves. We seek to be open and inclusive, respecting your inherent dignity, your ideas, and your vision, in times when it is easy and in times when it is difficult. We seek to be supportive, not only when you reach out and encourage to us, but when we need to reach out to you. In return, we ask that you recognize our humanity. We will not always live up to our ideals, and when we fall short, we invite you to stay in relationship with us and help us more fully realize the spirit of love. We welcome you as equal members of this congregation, of this faith, and of our shared spiritual journey.
Will all the children and youth please rise in body or in spirit and repeat after me? Repeat loudly after me. New members of First Unitarian Church, we welcome you. Together we are the future.
It is our honor to welcome these beloved members to our community. And once again, a warm, warm welcome to our new members and returning members. Thank you.
I'm going to ask, where did Nathan go? Don't sneak away.
I don't know. There he is.
The river flows, our community constant in its love. We're not going to roast you.
No, you have to face the front, sir.
Our community, constant in its love, is ever-changing in the particular individuals who arrive to grace us with their presence and then leave for other shores. Nathan Boone has served this congregation since 2019. For many of you out there, he was one of the first people you got to know, one of the first people who represented First Unitarian to you. And during the COVID pandemic, Nathan helped to pull us all together through Zoom meetings and fun events that he invented. He helped to make our online auctions and our fundraisers a great success. And he was responsible for some incredible social media posts. My favorite one is the little Alan doll, "My life is just preach." You haven't seen that one? We will miss his dry sense of humor and his warm presence, but we're happy for him to have a wonderful opportunity. He's going to be serving Community Pathways as their new Assistant Director of Operations. So I've invited a few people to come up and say a few words today, beginning with Loriana Lee Knapp, as you now know, our chair of our membership committee.
Hi, I'm still a Muppet. Yeah, I'm chair of membership. Okay. What this means is I get to work very closely with Nathan Boone, who knows, like everybody that comes to the door, right? It's pretty awesome. We are extremely happy. I didn't know what to say, so I wrote a poem. Ish. Creative, witty, wonderfully kind, patient, thoughtful, keeps others in mind. Funny, social, wickedly smart. Hey, could you help me find that digital art for the post, the newsletter, the bulletin board? Look at you, greeting everyone at the door. Observant, inclusive. Wow, you're so tall. For these reasons and many more, you are loved by all. Oh, there was another line. Yeah, he taught me a whole bunch of stuff. Thanks, man. Okay.
And Kate, would you come up? Kate Elliott is here representing the HR working group. We have other members of the HR working group with us today as well: Laura Lochner, Courtney Custer, Todd Hildebrandt.
Good morning, everybody. Yes, I am Kate, and we are representatives, like she said, of the Human Resources Working Group. Honestly, I've known Nathan a few years too, and he's been here for 4 years now as our congregational life coordinator. And he just reminded me, I've only seen him 3 or 4 times officially, because I don't live near here, but he has had a huge impact on my life as well as ours, and done such great work with us, from helping me with Breeze. I'm sure I wasn't the only one that needed a little extra help with that program. I'm sure we could all, remember that, appreciate that. And I remember his success too with the online auctions last year and years before that. And then I just think back to my experience as a newcomer and how warm and open and heartwarming he was with his emails. And like Reverend Diana said, it was just such a great first impression for somebody that was looking for a place to connect. So I was so grateful for that. So thank you so much, Nathan. We're super grateful for you, very proud of all the work you've done, and we'll miss you greatly. He's also promised to visit us, so he will come back and visit from time to time. I'm gonna hold him to that. Maybe we've got a little something for him.
And Nathan, I have a gift from the Board of Trustees and from the staff, a chapel pin to light your way. Thank you. And this is for me. This is a set of Christmas tree ornaments that are glass icicles. And they have a special significance. First of all, I know Nathan loves Christmas, and he loves Christmas markets in Europe. But what I really think about when I see this icicle as I remember the fall, 1 year after you arrived, the fall of 2020. Do you remember that freak ice storm that we had? We were still learning how to do church online. We were still figuring out this whole Zoom thing. Do you remember that? And most of the staff had no electricity at our homes. We had electricity here, but we didn't have it at our homes. And still we put on a service. And that was thanks to this incredible staff who never stopped working, who never stopped giving of themselves and their hearts, and who do so much out of love. So Nathan, and to remember that time and all the times that you came through, thank you. I'll wait till everybody is seated so I can ask you to rise again, in body or in spirit, as we sing our closing hymn. It's number 126 in the gray hymnal, Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing.
My favorite hymn. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of love and community which burns on in our hearts.
Please join us after the service today in Daniel Hall. If you're visiting or you're new, just come through these doors, go down the hallway and to the right. You'll find Daniel Hall, and there we will be having a welcome reception for our new and returning members and saying goodbye to our beloved Nathan. Join us for cake and vegan cupcakes down the hallway. And Tim and Liz and I will be processing down the aisle, and outside we are going to take some of our gathered waters and we are going to bless some of the sacred places on our grounds, the memorial to the victims of the Murrah building bombing, our memorial garden, and what will become our beautiful new playground. Now I leave you with this blessing. This is from poet Lucille Clifton, called Blessing the Boats. May the tide that is entering even now the lip of our understanding carry you out beyond the face of fear. May you kiss the wind and then turn from it, certain that it will love your back. May you open your eyes to water, water waving forever, and may you, in your innocence, sail from this to that. May it be so.